Some people see red wolves as a threat to their sources of food and income from hunting.
You know, I know it's a place here for them probably, and they probably work good to some extent. But I know on my piece of land, I've seen the deer population is starting to dwindle, and I mean it's not because I'm killing them all either.
Venison, I think, is I know people that basically the meat they use for the whole year is probably 90% venison when it comes to red meat. God has entrusted us with a resource, and we're entrusted to be with good stewards of that resource. And to be good stewards to us means having good relationships with the neighbors. And so we've chosen over the years to try to have community hunts and involving as many people from the community as we can. We don't want to impose anything that may be taking place on our property that is hurting somebody else in another area of this community, in this area. Again, the second poorest county in the state.
He's referring to rankings of counties within the state of North Carolina.
A lot of people supplement their food resource by wild game.
Also, 3 of the 5 counties have poverty rates over 20%, with one other just below 20 at 18.8%.
We love our hunting, and that is a heritage that goes back from generations to generations. For a lot of us, it's a part of our diet. I don't know when the last time I have brought some ground beef at the grocery store, because I don't want that stuff that's shot up with hormones or whatever. It's the free-ranging stuff that they're talking about is healthy, so that's a part of our diet. You know, I just don't go out there and shoot a deer and throw away half of it. You know, I take it and get it processed, and, you know, we make ground beef out of it, cube steak or what have you, and it's good, healthy eating. So when you put another predator in here that runs away, you know, the deer or whatever, no, we're not happy about that. Whenever we seen the wolf, there was no deer. And naturally, the wolf is a predator, and as far as I'm concerned, he's just a varmint.
Most of these farms in this area get extra income either through leasing the hunting rights to somebody or actually taking the people on guided hunts.
I think slowly over time, people are starting to realize maybe one, there might be a benefit to having wolves on your property, or coyotes for that matter. They eat some of the prey, but they change the behavior of the prey to where they don't just stand out without a care of the world all day long eating your crop. So there's this conflict of who wants what right now. You know, I can't farm with all these deer here, and I can't hunt with these wolves here because they're killing all the deer. And I want to say, well, why don't you go hunt in the farmer's field then, because he doesn't want the deer there. There is no shortage of deer in eastern North Carolina. The harvest numbers have pretty much gone up every year since the wolves have been here.
I'm not a deer biologist, but you got to kind of factor that all into trying to discern from the harvest what's happening with the actual population of deer.
So then going to the environmental assessment, one of the things talked about in there is deer. I'm going to quote it just because I want to make sure that I say it exactly how it says it. Quote, although red wolves routinely prey on white-tailed deer as part of their diet, there has been no direct evidence that red wolf predation is a significant cause of decline in white-tailed deer numbers on a population level.
It seems like there has been a decline in the deer population in recent years, but the data, there's not a clear-cut answer. Are wolves affecting the deer population? Probably not. One, there's not enough wolves out on the landscape currently to be having that kind of impact. Is it that, well, maybe the deer regulations have gotten a little too liberal? You know, maybe we are harvesting too many deer? Maybe there's something else. Maybe it's a combination of factors. With wildlife, it's usually not one thing. It's usually a bunch of things bound together. So you got to sort that out and try to figure out what part of that is really relevant to the red wolf discussion.